Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How is everybody today?
Awake and ready.
Super Bowl awake and ready. Sunlight, yes. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day today to be here today on this sunny, beautiful day. For those of you who don't know us, my name is Nayaswami GangaMata. This is Nayaswami Daiva. It's truly our joy to share this time with all of you. We'll begin with a reading from Whispers from Eternity. This is Yogananda's book of prayer demands and poems. And this is number 108, Demand to See God in Everything. And take a moment, if you feel comfortable, roll your shoulders back and close the eyes. Again, the topic is soul receptivity. Feel for these words in your heart, in the depth of your soul. O Father, may I behold Thee, above, beneath, behind, around, wherever I turn my gaze. Train the children of my senses never to stray from Thee, who is at the heart of everything. Turn my eyes inward to Thy changeless beauty. Attune my ears to silence, that I may hear Thy subtlest music. Breathe on me the heavenly scent of Thy sacred presence. Orient-wise I will worship Thee, placing the candles of my 5 senses on the altar of my love. Thus I will contact Thee in the first pale shafts of dawn, absorb Thee in the bright light of noon, expand in Thee with the hidden glow of twilight, and merge in Thee in the silver moonlight. Always will I keep alight on my inner altar the mystic taper of my love for Thee. Om. Peace. Amen. The chapter in the autobiography of a yogi when Yogananda returns back to his guru's ashram, Sri Yukteswar. And I believe the chapter starts with these words, with Sri Yukteswar, to obey thy law. And Sri Yukteswar said, okay, very well. Now I can take responsibility for your life. And so it is for us too when we come to the point and we say, okay, we are ready. We are ready to obey thy law. We are ready to take our first step or our next step on our spiritual path. And so we try the things of the world and we find that they don't bring us the happiness that we're looking for. I know for myself, I remember pursuing a career, pursuing the perfect home, the perfect partner. I found him. But, you know, and you do that, and then yet, and you know that the answer is in the stillness. You know that it's sitting in the silence. You know, but you push it away. And then even when you find these things, it never ends, does it? You want more. And then until sometimes you need a big life, earth-shattering event to shake you. And literally, I needed something like that, and that was the earthquake in 1989. I was working at my job that I so valued, and I was working late. I wasn't going to go home till I finished my project. And the earthquake that hit was after 5 o'clock that night. And all of a sudden, the ground starts to shake. And I had never been trained in earthquake preparedness. I had just moved out from the East Coast, in fact. But my intuition told me, get under your desk. And I got under my desk on all fours, and I started yelling, oh my God, oh my God. And then I realized I didn't know who God was. And then I really started yelling, oh my God, oh my God. Last week, our topic was on the Avatara, and the Avatara is a self-realized master who comes back to earth to show us how to find God, to show us the way. And this week, the topic is soul receptivity. How do we make that link to the avatar? How do we make that connection? That is the question. And then the chant that we sang so beautifully this morning really holds the essence. We talk about this almost every week. It's sitting in the silence where we can experience God. We talk about yoga. What is yoga? Yoga means union, right? Union with what? Union with cars and houses and things like that. No, it means union with what? Qualities of spirit, love, joy, peace, calmness. And when we choose these qualities, when we choose calmness over worry, when we choose kindness over disrespect, when we choose loving thoughts over hatred, we are experiencing God. We are tuning ourselves into God. And we begin to open ourselves to God's presence. Every week in the purification service, the Master says, open your heart to me. Open your heart to me. Why does he say that? How could he come to us when we don't come? As Yogananda finally came back to his guru and said, I have come. How can we do that unless we open our hearts? And then what does he promise us? And then I will take charge of your life, right? As Sri Yukteswar said, now I can take responsibility. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a free ride. In fact, it could even get harder at times. But if we keep that receptivity going, if we keep the meditation, the sitting in the silence, we can feel for his presence. And it's those qualities of spirit that really what we hold on to. And it's not that we don't own all those other things, but again, they don't have the same hold on us. There's a man who was an Orthodox Brahmin living in southern India, and he would perform a worship service every morning before he went to work. And he had, as a result, he had this, well, not as a result, but also he had this little fondness for a certain kind of pudding. And his family couldn't afford for them to have this pudding every day. So he devised a way. He said, you know, in this puja, which is a worship service, we're going to offer some pudding to God. And in the ceremony, he would go up to the altar, place the bowl of pudding on the altar, and then he would close the curtain so God could enjoy the pudding by himself. But what the man would do is when his offering was over, he would go behind the curtain and he would eat the pudding. And he would come out and show the empty bowl. And everybody was so happy because they thought, well, God came. You know, they were happy with his ceremony. And he was so proud of the way he did the ceremony so perfectly. Well, one day he had to travel and he wanted this tradition to continue. So his son, who had been part of this ceremony for many, many years, he said, son, you've seen how I've done this. I want you to carry on tomorrow. And the little boy says, of course, I'm happy to do that. So the little boy does this ceremony exactly how his father taught him, goes up to the altar, places the bowl of pudding, closes the curtain, and then he waits outside. And then he goes in and he sees what? There's pudding in the bowl. And he's like, oh, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? Oh my, he's just in grief, right? He's just in such grief. He goes back, he redoes the ceremony. Sure enough, God doesn't eat the pudding. And then he's just crying. He's like, I just love you. You know, I want you to accept me exactly how I am. I don't care if you eat the pudding, but show me that you just love me. My love and my devotion are clear for you. And sure enough, then he hears this voice, and God says, don't worry, I will eat the pudding. Well, long and behold, the father comes back later that night, and the little boy's so excited. He goes, Dad, I did the ceremony exactly the way you taught me, and God ate my pudding. And the father's like, really? You know, because he just thought, oh, his family knew what he was doing all along. He goes, okay, you can perform it tomorrow morning, and then I want to see. And so sure enough, the little boy performs it, but then God doesn't eat his pudding. And there's his father. He's like, Father, I don't know what happened. He ate it last night, and he's just filled with so much grief, and he just couldn't control himself. And then finally the voice of God, you know, comes, and the little boy can hear, and so can the father. It says, little boy, you know, your devotion, your faith, and your love were so strong. I will eat the pudding. And then finally the father realizes, he says, oh my gosh, my little boy has this devotion and faith and love that I don't have. I don't have this. I was so concerned with doing it right outwardly. That was my concern, that it looked perfect. But really, it's my boy that's got this love and devotion that I can learn from. And so, you know, in the new path, Norman said to Yogananda so sweetly, he says, sir, I don't believe I have very good karma. And Yogananda was very strict in his answer. He was very strong. He said, it takes very, very, very good karma even to want to know God. And we forget that, don't we? You know, we look at our faults. We look at how we didn't perform the ceremony perfectly. Or maybe we didn't meditate this morning. Or maybe we didn't meditate yesterday either. We look at all these things and we hold them against us. And what happens is the heart closes then, right? We feel that we're not worthy. But Yogananda was saying in that statement, you can do it. It takes many lifetimes to even want to know God. Very, very good karma to even want to know God. We can't forget the blessings that come from that. To all those who receive him, I give you the power. What's that power? The magnetism, the blessings that come from receiving them, from opening your heart. And again, what is yoga? It's union. Every time we meditate, Yogananda said there's 4 things we can do. We can energize, we could do Hang Sa, the Om technique, Kriya, plus devotion brings us to God. He gave us that formula. Kriya without devotion doesn't have the same power. Energization without devotion doesn't have the same power. The way to come to me is through me, through love, through joy, through peace, all those qualities of spirit. And then if those are so difficult, well, we have this beautiful affirmation today on work, right? A young man was interviewing for a job that he had no experience in. And the interviewer said, boy, for somebody who has no experience, you're sure asking for a lot of money. And the young man said, well, when you don't know what you're doing, it's so much harder. When we're not connected to spirit, it's so much harder. Remember the story of Martha and Mary, you know? Martha, Martha, you know, she kept washing the dishes and she was so angry because she was doing the work just by herself. But when we tune into God, when we tune into spirit, it becomes service, and everything can be viewed like that. Okay, and the two feed each other. For years I was nervous about becoming part of Ananda because I thought they would just tell me to meditate, meditate, meditate. But I just can't sit and meditate all the time. I was so relieved when they said meditate, serve. Meditate, serve, because what happens with that combination, right? In that deep soul receptivity, you experience the peace, power, energy, joy, all these qualities we experience. But then we get to share them, and we get to work through all those other qualities that we want to release, you know, the anxiety, the fear, all those things can come through our service, okay? Everything can come up. We offer it up, and then we're sharing those qualities in whatever we're doing. And they go hand in hand so beautifully. Many of you know that my father passed away recently. It was quite sudden. He had a blessed passing. Many say that the way you lived your life is the way you pass. And, you know, I haven't spent much time with him. Ever since I was 22, I moved to California to pursue my career. So I haven't really spent day-to-day time with him. But he had such a blessed passing. He was at home with my mother, and he just called her over. He was sitting on the sofa. He said, come over, leave the dishes, come sit with me. And in 5 minutes, he passed. It was that quick. It's that quick. You know, it really puts a point on it. At any point, we could be called, you know, at any point. And so what are we doing with the moments? Yogananda said, take care of the moments, because then the years take care of themselves. You know, it's just so true. And my mom lives in Florida, and it's hard to be far away from her. And that worry, you know, we talk about worry. Instead of calmness, I've been worried a lot about her. So it's really been a great exercise. Every time I can sit in the silence, okay, that's when I can offer it up, because that's when he knows me best. That's when I can at least feel for his presence. And then I've been serving like crazy when I can, because letting that energy move through you. So again, see how they work so beautifully together. And again, remembering not to be so hard on ourselves. You know, we have very, very good karma to even want to be here. But remembering to tune ourselves to God. Rajarsi Janakananda, who was Yogananda's foremost disciple, he was a millionaire. He was a successful businessman. He never talked about what he did for Yogananda. He only talked about what Yogananda did for him. You know, and all he tried to do was attune himself to Yogananda. And he would walk around saying, too much joy, too much love, or master's love, master's joy. Here's a brilliant man walking around saying, master's love, master's joy. Okay, that's the blessing that we have. When we could do that and just say God's love, God's joy, and be totally present with him, with that, then we find everything changes in our life. You know, nothing is not touched. There's a quote from Swami. He said, I used to offer every thought to Master. Master is an endearing term for Yogananda. But then I realized that wasn't enough. Now I offer everything. Every thought, every feeling, and activity to him. Toward the end of his life, he would say, I no longer know where Kriyananda ends and Master begins. It's all one to me. And that's why the Masters came, to show us that it's all one. We're all one. It may all look different on the surface. We may all be doing different things. But underneath the surface, we're all one. We're all one. And we can tune into that connection in the silence, together in that deep soul receptivity. And now just to end with these words, as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God. That power is in Master, as in Christ, and he could give it to you, but only if you tune in. How can you tune in? By always keeping his presence in your heart, by always referring your thoughts, your needs, your questions, your quest for guidance back to that inner presence. To those who think me near, Master said, I will be near. Think him with you now, because he is with you. He has that power to make you, his child, one with God. Peace. Amen.
And the words are adapted from Yogananda's poem, God, Christ, Guru. From the depths of slumber as I ascend the spiral stairway of wakefulness, I will whisper, whisper. Separation from thee, I will taste thee and mentally say, spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on thee, and in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be. Storms of trials shriek, and when worries howl at me, I will drown their noises, loudly chanting, God, God.
of deepest sleep, when my peace dreams and calls joy, joy, my joy comes singing evermore. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul will constantly hum, unheard by any.